Hey everyone, I'm Bob Raynor, and this is the Friday 5, your 5-minute spark of creativity and career inspiration to wrap up the week. Today's theme is one I think every creative hits at some point, sometimes more often than we'd like, and that's getting stuck in a creative rut. Let's talk about how to reignite your creative brain when you just feel like you're in a rut. Maybe you're struggling with ideas for a project you're on. Maybe you've been laid off and are searching for your next creative endeavor. Maybe you're just feeling uninspired at work and contemplating what's next. Hopefully, this episode offers you a new tip or maybe a reminder to take your own good advice. Creative blocks don't usually come from a lack of talent. They come from stale inputs. One of the fastest ways to get unstuck is to change what you're feeding your brain. Too often, our routines cause us to have tunnel vision, which keeps us from thinking outside our computer screen. But just like exercises for our muscles, we need to continuously exercise our creative brains. My friend and mentor, Rod Chant, starts every day with a pen and a notebook and generates 20 ideas. It doesn't matter what they are. The crazier, the better. How often does a random thought or a new observation or a can't miss business idea cross your mind, only to be shuffled away by an email or Teams notification? Get in the habit of getting those thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Spend that time ideating anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe your favorite band needs a new album cover. What if Coca-Cola needs you to create a new beverage? A new app? A new t-shirt graphic? A way to solve world hunger? It's all on the table. So your creative spark this week is simple. Just like a deep breath of fresh autumn air to wake up your senses, give your ideas some oxygen. Try the 20 ideas challenge, or 10 if that sounds too daunting. Sometimes all you need is to see your ideas laid out in front of you in order to act on them. You know, we have a bad habit as creatives with multitasking. I know personally I can feel overwhelmed quickly when I feel like there's too many things to do or too much information in front of me. And when I got laid off, one thing that hit me was a feeling of being unproductive because I had no more projects to deal with or deadlines to worry about. At the same time, I knew there were so many things I needed to do, or even better, had the freedom to do now that I wasn't trapped in the 9 to 5-ish. I didn't really know where to start, so I used my design brain to organize, and I made a simple list. I didn't even write this one down or use a fancy app. I opened notes on my phone and started making my list of everything: laundry, dishes, chores, house projects, reminders, shopping list items, appointments I needed to make. All the things I forgot to remember. It went in there. I didn't even put them in a priority order, just the order I could remember things. Then I set out to complete my checklist. In a world of uncertainty, having that little slice of control over my life was comforting. So just like a messy workplace sometimes needs a good organization session, your mind needs structure to relieve the pressure and stress of all you need to accomplish. And pressure is the real enemy of momentum. Speaking of momentum, Newton's first law of motion states that a body at rest will remain at rest unless an outside force acts on it, and a body in motion at a constant velocity will remain in motion in a straight line unless acted upon by an outside force. In other words, just do it. Stop getting ready to get ready. So many times we feel stuck or in a rut because we feel afraid to act or are overwhelmed with where to even start. Well, now that you have your ideas and your to-do list, it's time to build up some speed. I've told people in the past that I feel like I get more done when I have more to do. In those times when I'm free with no commitments on my plate, I find it very easy to slip into a mode of not wanting to do anything. A body at rest. Hey, it's a law. But once I started acting on my list, checking things off, even the smallest accomplishment brought me satisfaction and made me want to keep going. You hear the metaphor of the domino effect. One falling domino sets off a chain reaction that causes the others to fall in place. That's all well and good, but we all know that unless those dominoes are perfectly organized, aka with your list, that chain reaction breaks. Success and breakthroughs happen when momentum meets consistency. Imagine that you have a tree in your backyard that you need to cut down. Sure, you could go outside and take 150 whacks at it with an axe. That's massive and immediate action. But you could also go outside every single day for 5 months and take one whack. Either way, that tree's going to fall. So this week, use that list to your advantage. It will help you gain momentum, and if you show up every day to check off that list, there's nothing you can't accomplish in life. Now, I just talked about exercising your brain, organizing your life, and accomplishing your dreams. But one thing we don't get enough of these days is mental space. Time to ourselves to just be calm and quiet and alone with our thoughts. Many times, the only opportunity we have to actually take a breath mentally is when our head hits the pillow. And we all know what a disaster that can be sometimes. When you're feeling stuck or in a rut, oftentimes you can't quite put your finger on why you're even feeling that way. And what can often help bring clarity is silence. So this weekend, really try to carve out just 5 minutes of peace for yourself. Sit in a comfy chair, feet on the floor, close your eyes, allow your mind to go blank. This isn't about taking a nap. It's about relieving that mental tension that builds up on a daily basis. Try not to think of anything. Just be, just breathe. Just listen to the sounds around you. Allow any thoughts or feelings to wash over you and recede back into the proverbial ocean. Just 5 minutes. And finally, the official term for being stuck in a rut is languish. It's that loss of vitality, failing to make progress, or to even suffer from being forced to remain in an unpleasant place or situation. In reality, so much of this is in our heads, and that's exactly where our creativity lives. It doesn't matter how many design tools or AI bots we utilize to get our work done. The large majority of what we do as creatives is up here. We need the strength and endurance to ruminate on concepts, to think through problems, to feel that what we're doing matters and is going to make an impact. So if you're languishing at work, in your business, in your job search, I encourage you to try some of the practices I'm offering this week. Organize and exercise that creative machine between your ears, and then get out there and create. That's it for this week's Friday 5. If something here helped you get unstuck, tag me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'd love to hear what you're creating next. Until next time, keep going, stay curious, and keep your flame lit.